All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Women's Empower Network. I am so excited to have our guest here with us today, Amanda, and she's got a really interesting point of view and story and journey about what it is that she came to do and how she came to serve. So welcome, Amanda.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. So if you would, for our audience, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and your story and journey that led you on this path that you're on today?
I sure can. Well, it kind of started out with 7 years of Dark Night of the Soul. I actually have twins, and it was a very scary pregnancy. So they were monochorionic, monoamniotic, so there was no barrier between them. So it was very stressful. Each appointment, we were wondering if we would either lose both or have both. I went inpatient, and then we had NICU time after they were delivered. So that kind of going through the 7 years Dark Night of the Soul was kind of the beginning. And then I found out I would be losing someone very important to me. My dad, he was diagnosed with glioblastoma. And in my family, we would shove down our emotions and hold on to things, and we're strong. But I realized at that point it was time to do things differently. So I started out with a self hypnosis class because I knew in my heart that I would be the support for my mom, who my dad was very much, if I've ever seen soulmates, it was them, and my brothers. So I knew I had to be strong through it all. And then from there, I kept seeing signs and synchronicities. And even with my twins in the Dark Night of the Soul, it's like, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing here? Like nothing really made sense. And then again, the signs and the synchronicities. And I really love to bake with my twins. They have autism and they're nonverbal. So I started to bake things for them, treats and healthy stuff, just so they would get all the nourishment that they needed. And I would weave love into my food. And that began my first business, which is Rising Phoenix Cafe. And I still do all my homemade treats. I make homemade soups from scratch, my breads, everything like that. So that's how I connected to people and weaving love. I was in my, Zen zone in the mornings when I'm baking and everything like that. But there were still some things that were calling me. So hence my second business, which is Great Dragon Healing. I download healing codes that are specific to the individual. And with the ascended masters or angels, they come through and code it. I see it, I write it, like draw it out, and it comes with a reading. So that kind of started that. So in the cafe, I do also host little nights with spirits. So it's kind of dipping everybody's toes in because I am in Redvers, Saskatchewan, Canada. So it's a farming community. Spiritual is not really the word I would use to describe it. But with these nights with spirit, all these people started coming out of the woodwork, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And people are loving it. The vibration in the cafe is beautiful. I have cards out, angel cards, because who doesn't love angel cards? And I also have spirit messages out. So I kind of would peek and see who would be drawing a card when they came into the cafe. And it's all kind of grown from there.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, I'm curious. So why did you call your cafe? What's it called? Rising Phoenix?
Yep, Rising Phoenix Cafe. So I am a Scorpio. I do very much resonate with the Phoenix. I've definitely rebuilt myself, rose from the ashes many times, like right after 7 years of Dark Night of the Soul. and before that even. So it seemed like the perfect name for my cafe.
And then you went on to call the Great Dragon Healing. How did that
Yeah.
come about?
Well, dragon and phoenix are very much a balance, like yin and yang. So to me, it just kind of came out of the woodwork. They often say Merlin's dragon was great dragon. So it
So we're
all made
talking
sense
about
for
a good
me.
dragon.
Yeah, yeah. So it all made sense for me.
Wow, that's amazing. And so in your practice, it sounds like you said, were you using tarot cards or something that people were drawing?
Yeah, so I actually have a bowl and it's got some selenite in it. So it's constantly refreshed as the next person comes in and draws a new card as they are waiting for their lunch order. And angels are approachable. So I do have an angel card deck. And I also have a deck, I believe it's by Colette Baron Reed, and it's passports. So it's messages from spirit. So it could be from your spirit guides or a loved one that's crossed. So it's kind of brought the two together. I also have tarot oracle cards for sale, some spiritual books, and some made by a real witch products too. So she's a friend of mine.
That is so fascinating. I love all this. Especially, I admire women who who come out to be truly who they are. And, like you said, you lived in a farming community, but you just, you let the real essence of what was inside of you and using these names to come out. Because, we're told at one point in time, witches are burned or people who had these extraordinary gifts or skills. So I always admire women who do this. Thank you. That's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So tell us a little bit more for our audience about your online practice. How can they get in touch with you? How can they, what does a consultation or something look like?
You bet. So Great Dragon Healing is on Instagram, it's on Facebook, and exciting news, we will be having a website come out within the next month. So that's exciting. Um, a lot of people look at the healing code option, which is specifically for the person. It could be for healing a physical ailment, or it could be helping with your ascension, helping you connect to your gifts, whatever you need at that time. And it also comes with a reading. I offer courses online too. I'm just starting my Akashic record course in the cafe, so that will be exciting. And again, both are very linked together. We have our Nights with Spirit or our teaching sessions after hours kind of thing when the cafe is closed. So it's a nice, beautiful space. The energy is always high vibrational. So it's fun and it's approachable to people too. It's
How
not
do
like
you
you're going into that, store that says, like you said, about witches and everything, how they do have a bad connotation. But we're trying to change that.
right?
So it's
That
very
is
approachable as being, a bakery and a cafe during the day. You bring them in with the treats and then everybody comes for a night with spirit. So
I love the image just coming. What first thought that came to mind was Hansel and Gretel.
yeah, yeah.
Just leave a little breadcrumb.
Exactly. And often when we do have our nights with spirit, like you can have a fancy coffee and you can have treats when you come in too. So yeah, it really ties both in together.
I love it. I love that unique approach. So, is there any words of wisdom that you would like to leave with us today that come to mind?
Sure, I would say like my twins being nonverbal with autism, they truly live in their joy and live in the moment every day. And that is a message that I think everybody needs to hear. Just living in that raw emotion of joy, no guard up, not worried about what other people are thinking, but just living in the moment and in your pure joy.
I love that. That very thought came to me yesterday. There's a big river running through the middle of town, and I saw a gentleman throw a ball out in the river for his it looked like an Irish setter. And
Oh,
just the total abandonment of joy that that dog wasn't worried about what it was going to look like when it first got wet or what the
exactly.
temperature of the river was. It was just totally enjoying the moment. And that message just keeps coming up every day for me this week. So I'm like, I'm paying attention. Talk about
Yes, there's a
synchronicity.
beautiful synchronicity. Exactly.
Well, this has been such a delight, Amanda. I'm so glad you're here. And for everybody in the group, we're going to be sure to put the links above this interview so that you can get in touch with her. You know, we'll put her email if you want to ask her any questions. And Amanda, again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a beautiful experience.